we're identifying our subjects, and these are the guys that I've been talking about. Wait, just wait. Oh God, look at this frame. Okay, so here it is. We're going to end on this frame because this is a frame of consequence, is the way I would put it, right? It's clearly showing one of our subjects, and you can see him. There he is. I put it to you that this is one as well. And there are several within here and without this footage that are a little smaller. And I'm obviously, with this in the background, I'm leaning towards what is going on with this. But if you watch our earlier Study of Giants films, you're going to see these bigger creatures. This is amazing. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a done deal. People can think whatever they want. But as a researcher, and in the consistencies of my data, and within the bounds of this study, this is going on. And I got news for you. I'm right about the salt water seeping in. We used to have a 12-inch layer, and now we have a 20-foot layer, and it is getting into the aquifer, and it is just a matter of time before we all get a frightening look rather suddenly of the achromatic creatures that have been blending into the diffusion that science has avoided telling us all about, specifically because when we begin, it's like right now we figured this out. When everybody begins to understand that the diffusion exists in its color that they can't see, forbidden colors, when they begin to understand that their own vision as human beings is not suited to this planet and that there are enormous predators. And you can plainly see, look at this footage, it rendered out perfectly. Look at, we get the ear and everything. We already saw frames with his head. He's changed angles again. This is amazing footage. And I want to thank you for supporting this study here on Patreon. We're doing everything we can to beat this cancer. Stick around, man, because I told you, this is going to get incredible and scary. Alrighty, guys, we're on our way into the spot, and this is like one of 10,000 different sugar sand, old, cut roads that are going into South Florida wilderness, where you're gonna have these little hills, and so we're dealing with barrier stuff for the state of Florida. These are some of the only elevations in South Florida. We're typically at sea level, or in a lot of places below. In this region, we've got a rise, so our topography gives us perfect ambush kind of stuff. This is perfect habitat, man. They've got hills for the first time. This is the only place in South Florida. It runs up the eastern seaboard of South Florida. So when you look at it, that's, very valuable habitat. Alrighty, guys, so we're walking in today, and it's a little bit cooler temperatures, and it feels pretty good, man. I got hog tracks all over coming in here, and as well as signs of human passing. Right, we got some boot tracks, and one barefoot female again in my area here, man. The boot tracks are pretty large, like a 6-foot man, probably somewhere in there. And then there's the other tracks, and they're rained out. I found 2 that were punch holes. Nothing that you would write home about, but obviously I'm using it to track what's going on in here. And what we're seeing is that it's all about the spot. Like, we keep finding tracks in choke points. Like, they're crossing the trails to get to the other side in areas where the trail isn't so wide, so they can get across it quicker, probably. You know what I mean? It makes sense in that respect to find a track in an area like that. So It's awful quiet. So I saw some movement on the other side after I laid out a few Native American phrases, with some good volume, and I saw something move. So I made a few more sounds just to kind of, if it was watching me in the area that I saw movement, it would still stay around, and it was there watching me, man, on the other side, right where I thought it was, and so let's take a look at it now. This is the area that I saw the movement, and we'll check it out. If you lock in on the brow and the eyes and the nose, you won't have any trouble with this. But what you're literally witnessing is the retransmission of all this light that we can't see. The creature's face is literally creating the optical illusion, and it's just completely changing colors in milliseconds. The cheekbone right here, and this is a nostril, right? You can see this is under the nose, the dead center. Both nostrils. We got the brow, real heavy, and those deep set eye sockets. And if you just follow that, you can see the enormity of this creature. This is a very big hominoid. When we pull back and get the scope of how big, what we're looking at is, with the top of this creature's head, this is the face. I would say that this is easily a 12 to 15 foot individual. And, you can see he's in there. He's watching. You get a real good nose flare right there. Boom. He kind of flares his nostrils at us. Let's zoom back in a little bit here, and we'll continue the review of this incredible footage. Again, we've got the brow, and this is the right eye socket, and then we've got bushes everywhere and possibly other creatures jammed in. They're communal. We see the cheekbone here, right? So with this symmetry in mind, as we go through, we have to remember the achromatic coloration of their skin, the fact that this skin has that light gray or whitish tone to it, colorless tone, allows this creature to exhibit a retransmission of the light that human beings cannot see. What's happening is we assume this is part of the bushes. It removes all the depth from that creature. You can see it's moving in there. There's a considerable, look at the ball of the eye perfectly, right? You can see the nostrils. This is a huge, huge creature. And I don't, for what is happening with the phenomenon and what happens to humans upon viewing it, I have to assume these creatures are our predators, period. Trying to explain this, what is so obvious when the attention that is necessary. I mean, you can even make out what appears to be an ear on the side of this creature's head. We got cheekbone, very exaggerated musculature on this creature's face. This aligns with eyewitness descriptions. We can see the side of the head comes up this way, and then boom, we've got this little oval with a hole in it. That's an ear. And this is symmetrical coming across the brow where the top of the ear is just above it, and you can see it. This is a huge hominoid. 12 to 15 feet is my estimate. I have stood on that side, and I have observed this area quite a bit, boots on the ground. So, but the rest of the footage can be confusing. See this frame. See this frame. We've got the ear. We can see the exact symmetry of what's there. So when this review starts and it starts confusing you, pay attention to how it throws the entire symmetry of this off without the film. I think probably the coolest aspect of doing this is what you get to see when you're out in the environments, man. You're going to be able to see the signs of them passing, and the damage sometimes can look natural, and the trick is knowing what is and what isn't. And of course, you're always going to have that percentage of possibility that it's still natural. But following up gives us the ability to investigate further in the area, and that's really what this is about, is being in the area a lot. So we got a little bit of movement between frames. You can see the forehead of the larger one in the foreground, and then you can see the face and the ear and the whole head of this other giant right there. But as we continue, the frames are incredible, and we're making history here. And you can see there's the mouth. We got the whole nose. We got the striped brows right here. We got some of the ear. It's nuts, man. You can literally see achromatic creatures blending in. There's enormous stuff over here that I have to still confirm, but this guy we've been showing you, and in this particular clip, he's 500 yards from where we showed you the last time, and his head was behind a palm tree and he was on the ground. This frame, he's standing up. Is he standing all the way? I don't know. I just know, looking at the footage, this creature, these creatures, there he is right there, and you can literally see his face. Look, I'll get in on it for you. Oops, might be a little too close. Back up a little bit to 100. There we go. And as we go through frames, you can see that thing is literally like moving a little bit in there, and you can see the look at that. We got King Kong's back in there, and as the footage clears up, you guys are going to trip because we got these giants on film. What are we dealing with? I used to think, I knew what we were dealing with, but what we're being shown about what is dug out of the ground is very different, and this is by archaeologists. For as long as it's been around, we haven't been afforded an opportunity to fully understand what's been dug up. But what are we seeing? I don't know. At this point, I don't know what to say. I mean, is this a part of what everybody calls Bigfoot?